The students gossiped how King Ram gave 100 points in his exam. They were all curious. Onto whom it was given. Some heard it was given to the lifelong failure student named Luin Ardell. Luin's attention was shifted to someone who uttered that he had caused another incident again. It was Professor Heidel. Luin asked what he's doing there. Professor Heidel informed him that the news that Luin got 100 points from King Ram spread all the way to the dean's office. When the dean heard it, he said that it had never happened before, so the dean wanted to reward Luin. He gave Luin a piece of paper. Luin unfolded it and inquired about the artifact room that was written there. Professor Heidel invited Luin to follow him. They entered the room. And they descended the staircase. Luin expressed that he had no idea that the place existed. Professor Heidel told him it's natural since it's the only place in the academy where entry is prohibited. That made Luin confused since it's the only place where entry is prohibited. He wondered why the professor took him there. They stopped in front of the door. Professor Heidel explained that it's the entrance to the artifact room and he's only permitted until there. Luin inquired if that meant that he's going inside by himself. The professor told him that he'll wait for him. RMC had no idea what happened, but since the professor told him that it's a reward, he decided to enter. He walked along the carpet while looking around. There were so many artifacts that he only heard about. He assumed that it's the magic warehouse of Archmage Froyon Ignit. Someone said, "You look lost." It surprised Luin, and he asked who it was. He was surprised and confused to see King Gram. King Gram told him that it's as if he doesn't know his true worth. And then Luin noticed that King Gram is no longer a stone statue. King Gram seemed to notice that. And he asked Luin if he's surprised to see that. Then he explained that it's the only space where he's allowed to use his body. It was thanks to the ancient mana that fills the room he can stay in his original body and not as an artifact. Luin asked him what he meant when he said that Luin doesn't know his true worth. King Gram told him that it's as he said, that Luin doesn't know his worth, even though he's using the same artifact as Draka, the player. Luin was taken aback that King Gram knew about the player. King Gram told him that it's a rare artifact like no other in the world. He inquired on how Luin got it, and he also asked about Luin's relationship with Draka. Luin admitted that he's curious about that himself. He asked who on earth was Draka. King Gram observed his silence. Then King Gram told him that Draka is a being who wanted to become a god. King Gram narrated that one day Draka came to visit the Sky Peak tribe that King Gram belonged to. King Gram described Draka as short and small, which was unsightly to him. However, his power was so enormous that not even their Sky Peak tribe could overcome it. What's more, he became stronger as the days went by. So even when several ogres attacked him, they weren't able to defeat him. The ogres respected him. He also lived with them as is. He's a member of their tribe. Draka taught King Gram, the next tribal chief, language and magic for almost 100 years. The shocked Luin. He inquired on how it was possible for a human to live for 100 years. King Gram replied that it was possible since he wasn't a human. He revealed that Draka's true identity is the black dragon Dracagonia. Luin couldn't believe that dragons really exist. He asked King Gram if it's really true. King Gram replied that it is true. He asked Luin if he doesn't know that dragons are the origin of magic. In his head, Luin thought of how he heard that before, but it was just one claim. So he thought everything was just a legend. King Gram told him that Draka could not use magic. That's why Draka created a way to fight like Luin. with magic on the hands and feet. King Ram asked Luin if he knew what it meant now. Luin understood. He was certain that Draka would have been treated the same way as him in the past. King Ram told him that Draka created an ability that only he could use. A way to bring magic to power like what Luin had shown him. Using that power, Draka became stronger than any other being in the world. However, he was unsatisfied with that and he expanded his power infinitely. In the end, he destroyed everything and destroyed himself. Luin was taken aback with the news, but then he also realized why Draka was called the World Destroyer. He can't even guess how strong he must have been able to destroy the world. Blue window appeared and it showed that Luin had gained an achievement. It's called Finding Traces of Draka the Furious. The rewards included the title of Ogre's Friend. Skill is Ogre's Fury. Spirit Strang. The Incarnation of Power. The title Ogre's Friend has the effect that the probability that ogres will not be hostile towards Luin and it allows him to communicate with ogres. He was curious about this sudden reward. He saw that there's communication and thought that it was better than nothing. The Ogre's Fury is an active skill where he borrows the power of an enraged ogre and momentarily becomes stronger. Strength increases by 300 for 30 seconds and this effect will gradually increase under the influence of body arts. The cooldown is 3 minutes. Luin is considered a buff skill. He was curious about Strang, the incarnation of power, then suddenly a blue glass ball was in his hand. King Ram noticed and commented that it looked like he received the quest reward. He explained that Draka used to talk like that all the time while looking into space. Luin asked King Ram if he knew about the ball in his hand. King Ram gladly took a look at it. He recognized that it's Strang. Luin asked if he knew about that item. King Ram corrected him. Our MC couldn't believe that it's an incarnation. King Ram shared that it's always next to Draka. So there's no way he wouldn't recognize it. Given its current state, he assumed that Draka must have sealed it in a spirit stone when he died. That guy is an incarnation of power. Although he's called a spirit, he is different from normal spirits. King Ram described him as someone who had a nasty temper and would ask Draka for infinite power every day. However, if Luin satisfies his desire, Strang will also promise him infinite power. Luin verified if he meant that an incarnation will be born from the rock. King Ram replied that it was the case so he doesn't have to worry too much. The rock glowed. King Ram commented that it looked like the spirit will now wake up. Luin slightly panicked that it's breaking. Then it appeared. Luin was surprised to see a small bear on his palm. The bear said, "Brat, did you just call me a bear?" Luin commented that a bear can talk. He wondered how a bear can talk. This angered the bear. It scolded Luin and told him to stop treating him like a bear. But honestly, it was a cute brown bear. Luin asked the bear how he was talking. The bear got mad and asked if he could hear him. The bear told him, "How dare you compare me to those things? I'm not a bear." So it prompted Luin to ask what it is. The bear replied that he's an incarnation, that he can be anything that he wishes to be. He told Luin to watch since he'll demonstrate his power. Luin watched intently. The bear trembled as he gave his best. The bear was surprised and confused as he asked where his power went. Luin also wondered what this bear was doing. The bear told him that it must be because he reincarnated with an empty stomach. He demanded Luin to give him food. In his mind, Luin thought of the bear as rude. Luin told the bear that there's no food there and he expressed That he doesn't even know what the bear can eat. The bear was taken aback that Luin can't even get him food. He asked why his master this time was so weak. Luin asked if he's the master that the bear is pertaining to. The bear laid down on his palm and requested Luin to wake him up when it's time to eat. Deep inside, Luin was confused with this bear for calling him master, yet describing him as weak. King Ram was amused how it had been thousands of years and the bear's personality is still the same. He told Luin that seeing Luin with Strang reminded him of the old days. It reminds him of Strang and Draka, whom he faced back in his old hometown, the Sky Peak tribe. Then King Ram asked Luin Ardell, the small destroyer who carries Draka's will, on what he planned to do now. Luin replied, about what? King Ram told him that the power that he will possess will make him stronger and it might lead him to the right way or eat him alive. So King Ram asked Luin again that if he gets stronger, what does he plan to do? It made Luin reflect and recall that the reason he wanted power is to protect his people from demons, to evoke the name Ardell and to properly proclaim his name to those who can tempt him. Those thoughts made Luin smile and content. He realized that he has a lot to protect to give up the opportunity. He answered King Ram saying, I'll live on my own will, for my people, family, and myself. King Ram was satisfied with his answer. And he looked forward to the future that Luin will bring. Luin finally got a clue about Draka through the help of King Ram. Yet, as usual, his day started with a quest. The only thing that has changed is that now he has a companion. He woke up Strang and asked if he's going to eat. Strang immediately lit up and drooled upon hearing the word food. Luin feeds Strang. Since that guy is crazy about food and it eats a lot, the food that Strang eats is the power that he gets from the quests. Basically, Strang feeds off on Luin's power. A blue window displayed details of Strang. Strang is an incarnation of strength. It's the only spirit in the physical world that responds to the most primitive essence of strength. And it gets stronger as the vessel grows stronger, sharing all with its vessel. It also displayed 1-star unique skill. Companion Strang's growth is shared with Luin 100%. Unique skill companion gives Luin 100% strength. And the skill companion from Strang accelerated Luin's growth. Luin asked Strang if he'll get extra 100 strength every time Strang got stronger. Strang explained that he could have 200 when Strang becomes 2 stars. It will increase by 100 when Strang's stars increase. Strang shared that before he was sealed, he was over 31 stars. Luin was surprised he computed it in his head and 31 stars meant Draka had 3,100 strengths. He thought of his own strength, it's not even 1,000, but it already feels strong. That motivated Luin to ask how Draka achieved that. He asked if there's another way to grow his strength besides the quest. Strang had an all-knowing laugh and boasted why that made him the greatest. Then Strang told him that if he wanted to know, he should get him a cup of water. But Luin had an intimidating response to that. He told Strang that he doesn't have to tell him unless he wants to starve. That left Strang with no choice but to tell him. There are many ways to obtain power. One example is through a higher difficulty quest to get better rewards. Another one is to craft an item that gives strength, or at least find an artifact. It's also an option to boil the ogre's tendon and make an elixir. But Strang told Luin that none of those are meant for him. Luin was curious why when there's so many options available. Strang told him that he needs to have at least 1,000 strength to do all of those. If not, his body won't be able to handle the power that will grow exponentially. Strang described Luin as similar to a baby who's learning their first step. That made Luin realize that he's still at the beginning. When all this time he thought he got stronger. He made it his goal to achieve 1000 strength. He pushed through with the training that he had been doing. He did that every day to increase his strength. And when his strength reached 930. After some time, the third trial, real combat, started. Strang rode his shoulders and asked if his combat trial was today. Luin looked excited. He told Strang that he had been looking forward to that day. Normally, magicians attack from the back line, so there's a possibility that the spell might hit allies in the chaos. So, the purpose of the real combat trial is to test a magician's risk management skills. And it's the most important trial out of all. A student released a fireball. The knights panicked and told him not to aim at them. That was Jason Damon, and the instructor just told him that he's out. Jason was dispirited. The Foldran Knights are there to help with the test to ensure the students' safety and test their synergy with them. The trial goes on for 10 days, and each student will get monsters based on their scores. There were a total of 13 high-score students on the last day. Since it's the last day of the trial, everyone was curious about what kind of monster would show up. The students panicked at the sound of loud noise. An orc appeared. Orcs live in groups all around the continent. They are much bigger than humans, and their intelligence is comparable, too. They have a violent nature that causes frequent wars with humans. One scared student questioned if it's really okay for the test. Another student was worried that someone would die from an orc. Professor Heidel reminded them that they're magicians, so they should always remain rational. He told the students to consider it real and give their best. The orc charged at them. Its fist hit the shield of the knights. The magician at the back formed several blue balls, and he released it as an ice arrow. But the orc moved from its position. The knights and the magician were surprised to see it above them. Professor Heidel told the magician Mikkel to dodge. Mikkel trembled in fear. He knew he had to retaliate, but his body won't move because of fear. Professor Heidel used his prison tree ability. Vines appeared from the ground, and it wrapped around the orc to immobilize it. Fortunately, this happened just before it reached Mikkel. The instructor announced that Mikkel Garyhill is out. Someone punched his own thigh. It was Professor Elric, and he's disappointed that Mikkel failed again. That prompted Professor Elric to mess with Luin's test. He asked the dean if he would still continue the ongoing trial. The dean was confused on what Professor Elric meant. He knew it was Luin's turn soon. Professor Elric confirmed that. He also shared that Luin is the only student who got a perfect score from King Ram, and he expressed that testing the other students the same way as Luin is unfair. The dean acknowledges his point, but they don't have any other monster prepared. Professor Elric informed the dean that they have another one. He narrated that when the Foldran Knights brought the orcs, they also brought one ogre. Professor Elric admitted that using an ogre on the trial is very dangerous, but he also said that with Professor Heidel in there, along with the knights, Professor Elric couldn't help his curiosity on what Luin is capable of. Moments later, in the hallway of the academy, Professor Heidel is waiting for Luin to pass by. Professor Heidel called him, and Luin acknowledged the presence of the professor. The professor has something to say to him before the trial. Professor Heidel gave him a heads up that he will be tested harder than the others. The professor revealed to him that the academy is expecting a lot from him, since he got a perfect score from King Ram. Because of that, some were saying that it's unfair for Luin to fight the same monster as the normal students, and that's why his trial will be harder than the others. Our MC asked the professor how it would be harder. The professor shared to him that he'll be fighting a different monster, not an orc. Professor Heidel revealed to him that he'll be fighting against an ogre. Luin and Strang were flabbergasted. Then Strang uttered how Luin's first real opponent is an ogre. He expressed that it looked like it would be fun.